Hello all, I hope you are well in these extraordinary times. I would like to welcome you all to the Fintech Finance Virtual Arena where we're hosting you today. Now, we're going to be discussing, and we have discussed in the past, some of the biggest opportunities and challenges in fintech. And what we're going to be doing today is a bit of a deep dive into various regulations and their impact in financial services. And I'm going to be pulling some thought leaders who are going to be discussing, in this case, AI, the impact it's going to have on financial services, innovation, and where it's going to take us into the future. I am joined from Citi. I've got Gulru, right? I'm pronouncing that?
Gulru. Yeah,
Gulru, how can you just introduce yourself? How are you finding the whole lockdown setup so far?
Sure. Thank you, Ali, for the opportunity. I think this is great. I haven't been doing this for a while because of the travel restrictions, so it feels like I'm really energized now. My name is Gulru. I'm running innovation for Treasury and Trade Solutions in Citi as part of Institutional Clients Group. I'm based in Ireland, Dublin, and I'm originally from Turkey. I cover innovation for TTS globally, so I'm responsible from an innovation lab in Dublin, one in Singapore, and I have a team in New York as well.
And you're flying to all of them like at the moment, right?
Normally, yes, and nowadays my day starts early and ends late to cope up with the time differences. But it's okay, I like it. And I think in Ireland, it doesn't feel like lockdown or like quarantine really, because we are still able to exercise within 2 kilometers of our houses. We can go to grocery shopping. I feel grateful because I live in a house with a small garden, which is great. I can at least like get some fresh air during the day. And it almost feels like now we are all settled into this new normal and almost like starting to enjoy it. The only challenge for me is I'm an extroverted person, and I really need to keep up the socialization with my friends. The challenge is mainly with the family, large family, who is actually in Turkey, and not knowing when I will be able to see my parents and my sister. But other than that, it's good to be with the core family, work from home, except for the juggling between the housework and work. But I like it.
Absolutely, and we're also joined by Andreas from SmartStream. How and you're in Vienna at the moment?
Yes, I'm in Vienna. Yeah.
Excellent. How's the lockdown been for you guys? I know you've got young kids as well.
Yeah, true. So just let me introduce myself shortly. So I'm the CIO of SmartStream. I'm running the innovation lab in Vienna. We are mainly focusing on AI technology on the cloud. And my team here is in lockdown at the moment. So the communication behavior has changed a lot. We are using, Teams and online whiteboards where we have been drawing on whiteboards so far. We now draw sketches on our iPads and discuss that. So it has changed a lot. I also have a garden, and that's a good thing. I agree very much, specifically for the kids. But it's okay for a team of scientists. I think it's all right. We still continue the work. We do our discussions. We research a lot. So it's not such an effect as on other domains, I believe. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, to kick it all off, I'm going to ask what is literally the most obvious question, but I always feel it's important, to kind of build from the ground up. But broadly, what are the benefits of moving towards kind of AI and automation for a bank? I mean, it may seem relatively obvious, but you kind of got to establish those groundworks. What are the benefits there?
We really look at this from 3 different perspectives. Like, one is client experience. Second is operations enablement, like internal processes for the bank. And third is like around enabling compliance and risk management. So if we take a step back and look at, what are the priorities and trends we are hearing from our clients, my labs are, yes, we have technology teams and scientists, but we also have a group of people who we call as innovation catalysts who actually talk to clients a lot. Normally we have like 150 clients coming and visiting us in our innovation labs. And this year, of course, we are trying to move to virtual and whiteboarding, like Andres has mentioned as well. But what we see from clients lately over the last 3 to 4 years is like everything is moving to real time. demand is moving to just-in-time, which actually necessitates the just-in-time funding management, liquidity management. With COVID, of course, these have become much more of a priority to our clients as well, which means being able to forecast your cash flows is significantly important for our clients. It's an area where we see great benefit from machine learning, predictive analytics, and AI, or being able to reconcile your accounts receivables, which is normally a very much human-based, and manual processing. You can actually leverage natural language processing, again, like machine learning, to automate the process. So we see huge benefits from a client perspective, giving efficiencies on their side and giving, better tools, smarter tools to them. On operations enablement, of course, on our side, looking into the automation of certain processes, leveraging machine learning for sanctions screening, AML monitoring. These have huge benefit both from the operations side, but also on the risk management side, because we are actually things that are really human dependent and manual. You give the opportunity to the human to make better informed decisions, leveraging AI tools. So there are many different benefits, and I think some of these benefits are gaining more importance as a response to pandemic as well.
Absolutely. So again, broadly, operation, customer, regulation. And Andreas, anything to add on to that?
Yeah, I fully agree to that. So we are working with several tier 1 banks in projects, and whenever we look at potential use cases for AI, it's immediately a big data use case. So I think what is specific in the bank environment is we are dealing with a lot of data, massive amount of data. The number of transactions are continuously increasing everywhere in the world with digital payments and so on. And the banking software is still 10 or 15 years ago, right? So we see still mainframe software, we see old databases that do not perform. So there is a lot of potential. And if you look at the technology that is out there that can make that better, you are immediately looking at two technologies, which is machine learning, which can deal with a lot of data, and of course cloud computing, because then it's easy to set up, and the combination of these two make it so attractive for banks, because as I said, it's big data, it's still complex, but we want to make it simple and we want to make the software intelligent.
Well, looking at kind of the results of that, I kind of want to look almost some kind of specific examples. What has it enabled banks to do as a result? What processes specifically have suddenly gotten faster, whether it be on reconciliations or even things like sort of customer experience? What has it actually enabled the banks to do?
No, I think for us, for example, several things that we launched lately. One example is around risk management, not from the bank's perspective, but from our corporate clients' perspective. Payments processing is a big process for our clients' treasury operations, cash management operations, and our clients are largely global clients, large global corporates, banks or public sector clients as well. But what we've been able to launch last year, the year before, is something called Citi Payment Outlier Detection, which is actually looking at corporate clients' past payment behavior and predicting the potential outliers, which might be actually some operational mistakes or some cyber attacks, and actually giving the client another decision point to assess whether that's a valid payment, legitimate payment or not, which is, I think, is a great tool, especially managing the risks in payment processing, and it's becoming more important these days because following COVID, of course, we've seen some people trying to benefit from people working from home. So we've seen increased attempts of cyber attacks, and it actually enables our clients to be able to predict those payment outliers, which are outside of their typical payment patterns.
Absolutely. And Andreas, I'm gesturing to yourself now.
Thank you. So that's right. So COVID-19, maybe we can discuss that later. That has changed a lot in that industry, I have to say. In general, and to give you an example, we have been working on a machine learning project with a bank in Asia, and we got their data of people doing manual work. And it's a big team, and they have to do each day a reconciliation, which is a very exhausting task for a human, actually. And when you analyze that data, you can see that in the morning everything is matched correct and everything behaves. And in the afternoon, when the team gets a stress because they have to finish and do their SLAs, the matching quality decreases and decreases. Yeah. So, and that's very interesting for us, because when you run machine learning on that, you can do several things. You can learn from the behavior in the morning, and then you can warn users if they match something which a machine would not match. So you can warn them and increase quality. Or you can automate it. Then users that feel they have too much load, you can help them by processing the increased load of those messages. So there are a lot of advantages, and we ran that project for 2 months, and it's incredible what the feedback of the customer is when you give them the option of using machine learning in such an area, right? Because it's such a repeating process every day. And also the people in the bank are happy because they now can work on the real exceptions and not on the day-to-day work.
See, what I made a promise that I would never, when discussing about AI in our magazines or whatever, I made a promise to myself I would never put an image of the Terminator and use the word Rise of the Machines. But I'm going to break that rule because big fan of Terminator, great movie. Terminator 2, it's machine versus machine with people. And what I kind of think you highlighted there is it's not just let the AI do it on its own. It's people that are assisted by the AI. So when they're reconciling, they're going, oh, actually, I've made a mistake there, and the AI can pick them up on it. But they also have that human judgment, which we may get there, but I don't think we're quite there yet with machine learning.
Yeah, and there are several studies also in the medical domain where they try to use machine learning for radiologist images, so radiolo images, and you can see that the machine has a certain percentage and humans have a certain percentage, but in combination it outperforms everything. So you need that combinations. Machines are not yet that clever to understand all the outliers.
Yeah, that study was fascinating. I read about that one as well, and I think the radiologists are better in diagnosing the relatively smaller cases when they are looking at the results, and machine is better in detecting the ones which are like not small but like relatively more visible, and the combination of both was the perfect result, which is great.
And I think we have the same in banks as well. We have the complicated tasks and we have the very typical day-to-day tasks. It's a combination, I'm pretty sure.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, looking at using those obviously as examples, what are some of the surprising benefits that people become aware of by, as you mentioned with your bank in Asia, Andreas? What are some of the surprising? Oh, actually, people are now, our HR level of complaints has gone down because they're a lot less stressed because they have this help with them. What's some of the kind of knock-on effects of this?
So the good effect for the bank is that they can cope with their transactions. So we really have to see that in big data areas, typically it's not scaling because you cannot have that many human. You cannot throw another 100 people into that department, right? So that's a good relief for the department managers and also for the people to see that they get help. It's still a project, so we are not yet finished. But it's also for us and for my data scientists just so rewarding to see that it works, and that the people where we apply those technologies to their daily work, that they are really happy with what they get. Right? It could be the other way around, that they feel scared, or that they feel that they lose their jobs. It is not that way, and that is really good to work on the same side at that project and to help.
Maybe a couple of things from my end. I am normally, yes, we focus on maybe solving for pain points or automating certain human-based manual tasks, and give people some tools for better decision making, right? But what really fascinated me was 3 examples that we are piloting at the moment in Citi. One is enabling our sales teams with some tools to actually identify further opportunities with clients, leveraging the current transaction data or balance data, giving them some tools to be able to go back to their client and say, actually we can deliver this solution to you because some other customers you have done or are using this already. It seems quite simplistic from a retail or in consumer banking point of view, but if you look into corporates, it's more difficult. That's one. Second, we are again piloting a smart contract negotiation tool for our legal teams. While they are negotiating contracts with our corporate clients, they have the opportunity to be able to learn from the previously negotiated contracts, leveraging natural language processing and machine learning together, which is fascinating because this is a specific contract which has thousands of negotiations every month. So that's also quite fascinating for me. And last one, which we just started working on, is how do we really listen to the feedback, those unstructured data coming from clients from multiple channels, and get an insight on client sentiment, and maybe use that as a tool for further decision making on resource allocation, investment prioritization, and stuff like that.
Excellent. Well, we got to talk about COVID. Got to talk about COVID. I mean, it's brought up a lot of challenges, also a lot of opportunities within the bank. I mean, Jordan, throw in that cartoon again because it's so good. Of what's causing your digital disruption? It's COVID-19. What has it shown in terms of the strengths of AI technology within financial services? Let's go with you first. I'm going to gesture to you first, Gulru.
Okay, all right. Again, I will start with from client's perspective. So liquidity management has become it was the most, one of the top priorities for our clients, but it has become probably the most important priority. And as I said, cash flow forecasting, for example, AI has significant benefits in forecasting your cash flows, right? Or again, if we've seen increase in cyber crime attempts, which again you can use AI machine learning for detecting those payment outliers in your payment processing. I think all of them are fascinating, and we are not just relying on our own build, but we are leveraging our partnerships with companies like HighRadius for receivable reconciliation, or a company called CashForce for cash flow forecasting. So we are partnering with them. The only caveat I would put here, and I think Andreas will definitely better comment than me, is Coveit is an extraordinary data point in the model, right? It's not something that I think the models would easily detect, because we've run, for example, last year we ran a pilot for one of our clients in Asia to predict their corporate card spend. And when it was the Singles Day in Asia, again, it was it was an extraordinary thing, and the models we needed to retrain the models. So maybe that's something that we would need to be mindful of, given the COVID. But if I put AI aside, we've seen a lot of relatively digital cautious clients moving to digital in a very short period of time because now everyone is working from home.
Yeah, I agree fully. So the cash and liquidity demand we also see at our end. We have a cash and liquidity product in SmartStream that has AI for predicting cash and liquidity workflows and payments. And the interesting thing is that all the cash and liquidity curves misbehaved in the last days and weeks and months. So all rule-based cash and liquidity tools, they alerted everything, right? They saw exceptions everywhere. And that is, I think, the nice thing about AI. It will alert you once, but when you say that's okay, payments are now later than typical, it will learn from that and it will not continuously alert you. So this is one of the really benefits of AI, that it adopts. And as Gulru said, there's the new normal, right? So we need to adopt all software products, specifically in banking. The workflows are different, the timing is different, so everything is different. Interesting also is that digitalization, we are talking about that for 5 or 10 years. Now there was a compelling event, right? In banks, we still see so much paper workflows where people have to stamp or sign. It's impossible. That time is impossible. It's impossible in that time. So everybody had to step up and had to improve their workflows, allow workflows to be totally digitalized. And that was in turbo modus, right? That was so quick now. So what we see at our end is for financial institutions, it's hard to purchase hardware and install hardware and do software installations. So by this compelling event, we also see a lot of cloud demand, because this is it's easier to move a new workflow right on the cloud than to do it locally. So there's like a second thing coming up, which is a big cloud wave, and we see that coming. And also whenever you have software in the cloud which allows users to easily configure and subscribe to it and use AI to automatically identify data and workflows, it's a big benefit. Yeah? We have launched last year SmartStream Air, which is this reconciliation AI tool that can reconcile any data structure on the cloud. We didn't plan for COVID-19, but the interesting thing is that this now gets a lot of interest because people who have reconciled on pen on paper, they cannot do that anymore. So they are looking for alternatives. The easier it is, the better. So that's really interesting that we also have this cloud push software products to the cloud. Yeah.
And what really excites me the most is this is the new normal. You know, it's like it's the new standard. It's the new benchmark. There's no going back. It's great.
I was going to say, Andreas, I've said this a few times, and please correct me if I've kind of exaggerated it, but am I right in saying that it's effectively your reconciliation program, if you had a Sudoku of 1 million arrays by 1 million, it would be able to solve it?
Yes, yeah, that's basically it. It reduces the complexity, and even if you give me a Sudoku of 5 million records, it can do it. Yeah, and it's very advanced machine learning technology. It's called self-supervised machine learning. So it will train 2 algorithms against each other to find the best fit on the data. It's a really cool thing when we discovered that.
Excellent. The last thing I kind of wanted to touch on with you guys is we got to kind of look to the future, and again, as you've said, we're not going to be going back to normal. There is a new normal. What does the use of AI mean for financial services in the future? Because we're never going to be going back to the old ways of doing things.
I really think it will, especially for institutional banking, it will mean a delightful client experience. Because I mean, what we are seeing with consumers, like, you know, personalized experiences, on demand, you know, I think they will become the norm for corporate expectations as well. And I think AI in multiple streams will help us to enable that. Like, show me you know me is something that our clients always tells us. And I think there's no other tool than you know, AI, which can actually enable us doing that. So I really think the first thing is, like, you know, client enablement and client experience. And then the second thing, as Andreas was saying, like, to bring more happiness and job satisfaction to people, like, you know, improving their employee experience by giving them such tools so that they are not working on these mundane tasks, but maybe just leveraging AI to be the decision maker, right? So I'm super excited with the future.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah. So the thing that drives me personally and the people here in the Innovation Lab is we want to make financial services software as simple as looking for a weather forecast or using a navigation system, and it's not the case. And the interesting thing is, you know, weather forecasts are not simple. They have a lot of data. But you don't feel it. You enter your city, you get your forecast. And I believe financial services could be that simple. We are overcomplicating a lot. And the situation at the moment with COVID-19, I think, pushes that. We are thinking of new and simpler ways to distribute applications. We are looking at, you know, everybody's working at home. You cannot go to your colleague and ask something easily. So we are looking at very smart assistants that can help you do your daily job, run your workflows. So it's actually quite a good time for technology. And I'm really looking forward to the new normal, because technology-wise, and, you know, being a techie and loving AI and machine learning technology and believing in all that, I think it will push us to a new level, and that's good.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for that, Kai. I feel like I've personally learned a fair bit. Where can we? I mean, we're not going to be seeing you at any event soon, so where can we find out more about you guys?
Not that much, maybe on LinkedIn, but I'm not that much of a social media user. So you have
you're not on TikTok?
No.
Yeah, for me the same. So I would say LinkedIn. We have a SmartStream news feed where from time to time there are articles. Yeah, that's the way to get more information on us and on me.
Brilliant, excellent. Thank you very much, guys.